This will be a follow-up lesson on the origin of language in humans. And we've learned in the previous lesson that once language emerged in our ancestors, it became a selection pressure for the evolution of human brains, more capable of learning and using language. But in addition, language set up selection pressures for the evolution of physical traits, like a more dexterous tongue and an expanded, deeper larynx, so our voice box changed. This allowed us to produce a greater variety of sounds. So in this lesson, I want to just make the comparison between the human evolution and that of the beaver. And the idea here is that the behavior of a species in its environment can set up new selection pressures for the evolution of other physical traits in the future. So beavers, what do? Well, beavers chew down trees and build dams to make a small lake in which they build a home safe from predators. And beavers have these really sharp incisors. They never stop growing, and they can chew through a pretty substantial tree. But interestingly, beavers have many adaptations related to living in water. Well, that kind of makes sense. I mean, they're building a dam to make a little lake. So that would be setting up a selection pressure for the evolution of traits that will help them live in water. Well, what are some of those traits? Well, they have nostrils and ears that can close while underwater, flaps of skin that close behind the incisors so the beaver can carry sticks in water without drowning. They have webbed back feet. And here are some other adaptations for water living. They have a clear eyelid that allows them to see underwater. They have good hearing underwater as well. And they have the inner ear is full of dense, fluffy hairs which trap air and prevent water from getting in. They have 2 layers of fur, which provide extra insulation. And they have a lung capacity roughly 3 times that of an adult human. Beavers can remain underwater for up to 15 minutes at a time. They have a large, flat, and scaly tail, mainly used as a rudder when swimming. And as mentioned, they have large, webbed hind feet, and that can help them propel through the water. Now, the ancestors of beavers did not have the adaptations for living in water. So how did they evolve? Well, ancestral beavers began chewing through trees for unknown reasons, but the consequence was the blockage of a stream and the creation of a small pond. Any ancestral beavers that could make a home out of wood surrounded by water to provide protection from predators had a survival advantage. At this early stage, they did not yet have adaptations for a water lifestyle. So notice, if you arrange the wood in a certain way, you can create a protective home environment in the middle of the water, and that's excellent protection from predators. It was the descendants of those first beavers who began a long-term commitment to living in their watery environment. Only then did natural selection begin favoring adaptations for living in water. Thus, beavers caused a change in their environment, which set up new selection pressures for the evolution of new beaver traits for living in water. And this process is called niche construction. And language did the same thing for humans. Language changed the environment in which the humans were evolving and caused the evolution of new human traits, especially brain traits, but also changes to our vocal anatomy. So human brains are the product of natural selection in a cultural environment, and that's why culture is our nature. And now the chimp says, it's like when early beavers began building dams, which caused the evolution of new adaptations for living in water. Yes, we constructed a cultural niche for which we later evolved physical and psychological adaptations. Well, good for you. Now leave us alone and stop cutting down the forest.